even though we don't always see eye to eye all the time. Most of the time, but not all the time.
Didn't go the way I wanted, but at the end of the day, I know I'm going to bounce back.
Robert and I, after a series of discussions, have mutually agreed to part ways.
It has been an unprecedented week for all football head coaches, whether you happen to be in the NFL or if you're in college football. You've never seen head coaching turnover in football like this before, and it's resulted in us not really getting so much sleep over here on the channel. I need like 2 more of these. But it's official, the biggest domino in the coaching carousel fell today, and the future could go in a myriad of different ways. So before we get to the content, this is our 4th upload in a 24-hour span. 5 uploads if you count the Flight Mike basketball channel. We've been working tirelessly to make sure we bring you high quality NFL updates on this channel. We also have a TikTok page that we post to and an Instagram page that we bring you the short form version of this news too. So if you guys could drop like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow, that'd be very much appreciated. Now that we get all that out of the way, break! We made $1,100 off of a $20 entry on Prize Picks. And it wasn't just me, it was everyone that followed these picks on my Instagram story. And the best feeling is the amount of people that made money as a result of this. I mean, bam, bam, bam. Bam! My DMs were flooded, so the best part for me was seeing you guys make money as well. But we're not done yet. If you haven't signed up for Prize Picks, use my promo code Mikerophone to double your deposit up until $100 on Prize Picks. And I give away my picks on a daily basis for free on my Instagram story and now my Snapchat story. We're having so much fun doing this. I'm so happy that I made you guys some money. And thank you, Prize Picks, for the sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Bill Belichick is without a doubt a top 3 NFL head coach of all time. You can make a legitimate argument for him being the best NFL head coach of all time. Since joining the New England Patriots, Bill Belichick has a win-loss record of 262-108 over 23 seasons, without a doubt being the most successful head coach in Patriots history and the most successful head coach of our generation. He has compiled a 30-12 record in the playoffs with New England, including going 6-3 in Super Bowls. He has led the New England Patriots to 17 divisional titles, including 5 consecutive titles from 2003 to 2007 and 11 consecutive titles from 2009 to 2019. He holds the record for the most consecutive playoff appearances with 11, and unfortunately that streak snapped in 2020. Ironically, the very year that Bill Belichick and Tom Brady parted ways. A lot of people like to say that Tom Brady made Bill Belichick. I like to remind those same people that Tom Brady would never get an opportunity to start at quarterback if it wasn't for Bill Belichick. For those that say,
hey Mike, Drew Bledsoe got injured, Bill Belichick didn't have a choice but to put Tom Brady in.
At the same time, you have to remember that when Drew Bledsoe came back, which was a former #1 overall pick that was getting paid a significant sum of money, Bill Belichick elected to stay with Tom Brady. And to be honest, that takes incredible football acumen to do. The year after, once they moved on from Drew Bledsoe, at that point you have no choice but to continue with Tom Brady. I don't like to think one carried the other. I like to think that their success was incredibly synergistic. Unfortunately, once Tom Brady left the New England Patriots, we really got to see how Bill Belichick would handle a rebuild for the first time in his entire career, at least since the Cleveland Brown era. And to be honest, his pivot was very interesting. Once Tom Brady announced that he was leaving for Tampa Bay, Bill Belichick announced that he was signing Cam Newton. Cam Newton had a very interesting career for Bill Belichick as well. He passed his prime Cam Newton had a 66% completion percentage and threw for 8 touchdowns and 10 interceptions under Bill Belichick, while also adding 12 touchdowns on the ground, which isn't a bad season at all, considering that his shoulder was shot and that the Patriots were in a transition phase. That very offseason, Bill Belichick decided to draft Mac Jones, a Nick Saban disciple who happened to be a former assistant of his when he was with the Cleveland Browns. And in Mac Jones' first season, he looked incredible. A lot of people forget, but when Mac Jones had Josh McDaniels coaching him as opposed opposed to Matt Patricia ruining him. He threw 22 touchdowns to 13 interceptions, had a 68% completion percentage, and looked like the future of the New England Patriots. Unfortunately, he took a huge step back in 2022. And this is when we started to see some of the cracks in the Bill Belichick regime. Some of the things that just didn't make sense at all whatsoever were happening. For instance, Bill Belichick made Matt Patricia, an individual that has never been an offensive coordinator in his entire career, the offensive coordinator of the New England Patriots. Mac Jones was visibly frustrated during this era of his career, and you can make a very legitimate argument that this stunted his development. Whenever you have a young quarterback that is still trying to learn the nuances of the NFL, you don't want to just have anyone as his offensive coordinator. Despite that, the Patriots still finished with an 8-9 record in 2022, but they were clearly regressing at this point, and things really took a bad turn in 2023. Going into the season, Mac Jones had absolutely no weapons whatsoever. His best wide receiver was Juju Smith-Schuster, who, with all due respect, looked kind of cooked once he came over to the New England Patriots. His offensive line was terrible. I mean, Trent Brown himself said that Mac Jones had no chance to succeed behind that offensive line, and this resulted in Mac Jones's worst season to date, and you would see press conferences like this, which made him look like a shell of his former self.
I always use the bye week to evaluate myself and the team and everything I can do better, and there's a lot of things clearly I need to do better, and I'm always going to work. I know that.
And more recently, Mac Jones sounded a little bit more confident about his future, giving this interview 3 days ago.
Definitely a lot of learning experiences, and I'm definitely grew as a player and a person, and didn't go the way I wanted, but at the end of the day, I know I'm going to bounce back and have a lot of respect for everybody in this locker room.
And there's a huge question about how the New England Patriots are going to maneuver this offseason. Were they going to continue forward with Bill Belichick as their head coach? Were they going to move on from Bill Belichick? Were they going to move on from Mac Jones? How do you fix the New England Patriots? Well, it seems like we finally got some answers. After days of having many meetings between himself and Robert Kraft, the New England Patriots announced at 4 a.m. this morning that they are going to be moving on from Bill Belichick. He won't be the New England Patriots head coach in 2024, per Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero, and even Adam Schefter, which, to be honest, would be unfathomable to me a few years ago. But at the point that the New England Patriots are in, considering that they need to undergo a huge rebuild, considering the factors that are necessary to keep Bill Belichick coaching right now, this doesn't surprise me, to say the least. There's just such a huge uphill battle to get the Patriots back into contention. I mean, when I look at various job openings, the Los Angeles Chargers have a franchise quarterback and a really good stable of wide receivers and an incredible pass rush and solid defensive backs. The Washington Commanders have really solid wide receivers, a solid running game, and the foundation of a good defense is still there, even though they moved on from Montez Sweat and traded Chase Young. They also have $70 million available in cap space and the number 2 overall pick, in addition to a very promising brand new front office. When I look at the New England Patriots, there's a chance that there isn't even a single player on this roster that you can build around. Mac Jones is a question mark, JC Jackson and Christian Gonzalez look promising, and to be honest, that's about it. They have the number 3 overall pick in the NFL draft. They also have around the same amount of cap space, around $70 million. But at this point, if you're Bill Belichick and you're chasing Don Shula's win record, then there are significantly better opportunities for you elsewhere. Now, how they plan to execute this right now is beyond me. My original theory was he was going to get traded. I don't know if that's still on the table for the New England Patriots. I don't know if they're just going to let him walk away or if they're going to get some sort of compensation. My original theory suggested that the Patriots weren't going to let him walk away for nothing, but we'll have to wait and see in regards to that. Now, Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft would give statements about the situation.
Robert and I, after a series of discussions, have mutually agreed to part ways. And for me, this is a day of gratitude and celebration. Start with Robert and his family. It's great. So much thanks for the opportunity to be the head coach here for 24 years. It's an amazing opportunity. Received tremendous support. We had a vision of building a winner, building a championship football team here, and that's exceeded my wildest dreams and expectations. The amount of success that we were able to achieve together, through a lot of hard work and contributions of so many people. So I'm very proud of that, and I always have those those great memories will carry with those with me the rest of my life.
This is all leading us to ask one question. What's next for Bill Belichick, and what's next for the New England Patriots? The Patriots have a lot of options in regards to their succession plan for Bill Belichick. It's a plan that may have been in the making for quite some time. Jared Mayo, a former top 10 pick for Bill Belichick, a Super Bowl champion and Defensive Rookie of the Year, a former two-time Pro Bowler and first-team All-Pro, who is known for his work ethic and was the New England Patriots inside linebackers coach since March of 2019, is currently the favorite to succeed Bill Belichick because he's had playing experience under Bill Belichick, and at the same time, he is technically a Belichick disciple, although he wasn't necessarily an offensive or defensive coordinator for Bill Belichick. But obviously, the Patriots could also pursue Mike Vrabel, an individual that played for Bill Belichick as well, and has had a lot of success in Tennessee. As a matter of fact, he'd still have success with the Tennessee Titans if it wasn't for the fact that the Tennessee Titans decided to make one of the worst trades in franchise history by trading A.J. Brown for a package based around Treylon Burks, which subsequently resulted in them not making it to the playoffs for the final 2 seasons of Mike Vrabel's career. I think those are the 2 most likely directions that this could go in. But in regards to where Bill Belichick could go to next, that's a completely different story. There's a lot of directions that this could go in, but whoever the New England Patriots decide to hire needs to understand that this rebuild is going to take some time. I don't think the Patriots are even close to contention. I think they need at the very minimum another 3 years until they're contending again. The good news is there's stable ownership, there's a history and legacy of winning, but the roster is just terrible. I mean, again, is Mac Jones your guy? Your best player is your running back, Ramondre Stevenson on offense. It's just, there's a lot of questions in regards to what needs to be done to get the Patriots back to where they need to be. And at the same time, you're in the same division as the Buffalo Bills, the New York Jets, and the Miami Dolphins. I don't want to say this is the worst head coaching opening right now. I think the Tennessee Titans are worse, and the Carolina Panthers are without a doubt the worst head coaching gig that you could take on right now, but it's certainly not the most attractive destination right now. As for Bill Belichick, where could he go to next? Well, in my opinion, the best head coaching destination right now is the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, they have incredible talent offensively in DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Kenneth Walker, and yes, I know this would have sounded weird 4 years ago, but so when moving on from Bill Belichick 4 years ago, they have a good quarterback in Geno Smith, and that's before we get to the defensive side of the ball where they have young studs like Devin Witherspoon and Boye Mafe, but I highly doubt the Seattle Seahawks would pursue Bill Belichick because they just fired Pete Carroll, and yes, I do believe he was fired. We made a whole separate video on that, and if you just listen to the way this man is talking in his exit interview, it sounded like he was fired. It sounded like he still wants to coach, but Bill Belichick and Pete Carroll are about the same age. I highly doubt the Seahawks are going to move on from Pete Carroll, only to bring in Bill Belichick at that point. I think the next most attractive destination is the Washington Commanders. Their front office seems to be the exact opposite of what the Dan Snyder era's front office was. Josh Harris has just entered. He recently made an interview request for 49ers stud executive Adam Peters. He brought in Bob Myers and Rick Spielman to assist him in executive decisions. They have the number 2 overall pick, and they have tremendous amounts of salary cap space. So Bill Belichick could mold this team in whichever way he sees fit, but at the same time, the New England Patriots had a lot of cap space, so maybe he wants a more legitimate contending team, which is why the Los Angeles Chargers, which were my mid-season favorite, are my favorite over here. If there's one thing Bill Belichick may have learned from the post-Tom Brady era, is that it's not easy to find a good quarterback to build your offense around. And the Los Angeles Chargers already have a superstar at the quarterback position. And whenever their wide receiver core is fully healthy, they have one of the best wide receiver rooms in the entire NFL. Although Keenan Allen and Mike Williams might not be on the Chargers next year, I'm sure if you hire a coach like Bill Belichick, it would definitely do some wonders in convincing any player to return. But at the very minimum, you have Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa on the defensive side of the ball, teaming up with Derwin James, and that's a good core to move forward with. But a new relative favorite for Bill Belichick's services, a team that has not been utilizing their talent the way that they should have been, is none other than the Atlanta Falcons. And according to Adam Schefter, Falcons owner Arthur Blank has taken some big swings at high-profile head coaches in the past. He once pursued Joe Gibbs, but didn't land him. He once pursued Bill Parcells, but didn't land him. soon. Now the Atlanta Falcons have a head coaching opening, and Bill Belichick is a free agent. I know the Atlanta Falcons aren't necessarily the sexiest option on the table, but when you take a look at what they got, it makes a lot of sense. The Atlanta Falcons have Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and Bijan Robinson offensively. They currently have the number 8 pick in the NFL draft. They have very stable ownership, despite Arthur Smith not being the greatest coach. Arthur Blank still gave him 3 years before moving on from him. Mike Smith got 7 years to prove himself. Dan Quinn got 6 years to prove himself. It's not like Arthur Blank will immediately fire you. He'll give you chances to prove yourself. And there's so many ways you could solve your quarterback problem. Bill Belichick, during the 2021 NFL draft, was very big on Justin Fields. Justin Fields might be available for a trade based off of what the Chicago Bears do with the number 1 overall pick. Maybe Kirk Cousins is available for a trade, but maybe you don't trade for either of those and you decide to take Jaden Daniels or Michael Penix in the top 10 of the NFL draft. There's so many ways that you could go to shape the Atlanta Falcons, and they have a good young roster that just wasn't being utilized properly. At the end of the day, there are options for Bill Belichick to chase Don Shula's win record, and we could very much expect that to be happening sooner rather than later. I'm expecting Bill Belichick to announce his new team within the next week. Let me know in the comment section down below what team you think Bill Belichick's going to sign with or get traded to. We still have no idea which one it's going to be. And if you're a Patriots fan, let me know. Do you agree with this decision? Do you think the Patriots made the wrong move moving on from Bill Belichick? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.